Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This is Nick, Hunter, and JJ. You're listening to Dogmatic Opinions. In today's podcast, we're going to cover NFL recent wide receiver signings, roundtable other NFL news. Hunter's got a hot take on Jimmy Garoppolo and the Browns. Right off the jump for recent NFL signings, we got DK Metcalf. Signs July 30th, contract for 3 years, $72 million. Nick, what's your thoughts?
Starting with DK,
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty good deal. Honestly, I mean, lock him in for three more years. I think it's pretty apparent at this point that he's going to be the number one guy, not Tyler Lockett. Physically, it just makes sense. And Tyler Lockett's still a great player, still a complimentary second receiver. Could easily be a starting receiver at a bunch of spots as well, but. I think DK has proven that he's the dude over there. More than just on-field stuff, he's also a personality off the field, which brings in a lot more fan interest, things like that. So, I mean, for DK, I think that was a really good deal.
Yeah, my only thing is, and I'm actually surprised more on DK's part, is why he would do it. I mean, it's because he talked for a long time about one to be traded once Russ was gone. I know he wants the money and was all about Seattle. I know a bunch of charities and stuff he does in Seattle. Wants to be like Russ and find a home. But I'm actually surprised he did this because who are they going to for quarterback? I mean, you can't tell me he wants to save for Drew Lock.
Exactly.
Or Geno Smith, yes, improved last season. We'll see if it's maintainable or not. Obviously, he is. Per reports, he's winning in training camp over Drew Lock. But that worries me even more. A guy who was starting way back when and now has finally come back. And maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but I'm good for Seattle. Great for Seattle. Like Nick said, the stats are there. And obviously he's proven to be going to be the number one of that team with Tyler Lockett. But I am questioned of why DK did it and why he didn't wait and see what they were going to do. Obviously, I know money was being pushed this year, but what Seattle was going to do as far as quarterback. So did have a lot of question there.
Definitely agree. I want to know if he's going to be able to be as dynamic as I feel like when he's just so big. Like I want him to be dynamic, but I don't know without Russ if he's going to be able to do all that.
We already saw it. So
yeah.
Without Russ,
with Geno,
he was great.
Yes, correct.
He was still that dude. And I mean, that's the thing, great receivers. The example that we always like to use is DeAndre Hopkins. Like he had TJ Yates and Brian Hoyer thrown to him. It doesn't matter. DK might be one of those dudes. It might not matter. Like, yes, would he do better with Russell than he will with Geno? Obviously. If the opportunities are there, Russ will be able to put the balls in better spots, knows how to run the offense better, but I think DK would be just fine.
Yeah.
That's definitely fair. Next up, we got Deontay Johnson signing a 2-year extension for worth $39.5 million, $27 million of it.
Hunter, are you a Steelers fan, Hunter?
That's right. Am I a Steelers fan?
Am I? Is he?
No, I think good sign by us. A little bit more than I wanted to give him, but not as bad as actually it could have been. I'll say that. I know it's way less than what Deontay wanted, but we're seeing in the league right now, especially these current signings that we're talking about currently. I bet all of them are not super long term. They're wanting to be able to secure another bag before they start dropping off in their into the 30s and stuff. So I think good move by us. We still have a lot of question at quarterback, as I know, being a Steelers fan in itself. But good lockup by us. Hopefully George Pickens, Chase Claypool, Pat Freiermuth, everybody that we have currently can help support him. He improved vastly. We've gone over the numbers, Nick and I, vastly over seasons. And I think he deserved it. And, numbers speak for themselves, and he had them, especially last year. And I think he will continue to produce for us.
Who's going to be y'all's third guy? So you got Deontay, Claypool,
and George Pickens. George Pickens, our rookie, which is apparently he's all the videos and everything I'm seeing, he's showing out.
Yeah.
Showing out.
And who's winning that QB battle right now? Trubisky starting week 1, or is it going to be Pickens?
Right now? Well, technically Rooney just announced that it's Trubisky's part to lose. So We'll see if Pickett. Apparently, Mason Rudolph has improved. I am day one never a
we're
fan of
throwing him in
Mason
the mix?
Rudolph.
Oh, gosh.
Never a fan, but he apparently has improved. But I don't foresee him starting period ever. But I think Trubisky will start. If for some reason something happens or injury, anything like that, I think they stick with Trubisky through the season unless Pickett just begins to show out, comes in and shows out. But I think Pickett is a great quarterback, great addition to our team, but needs to sit a year, gain a little bit more experience. And I think Trubisky coming from Josh Allen is a great addition to us because of the mindset of, the way he put it is in Chicago, he had to run the coach's system. And the Bills ran around Josh Allen. And the Steelers are finally beginning to move away from, hey, it runs around Ben and really what Matt Canada tried to inflict in Ben last year, which obviously was okay, but not great because Matt Canada's system does not work with Ben Roethlisberger. But I think Matt Canada's system will work with Mitchell Trubisky, and they will allow him to have the freedom he needs to get out of the pocket, scramble, throw downfield, do whatever he needs to, especially having Najee in the backfield. It'll help a lot. So that's where I'm at with that.
Well, yeah, it was hard to build an appropriate system around Ben when the system was literally, the guy can't walk.
Correct.
Snap it and throw it. Snap it and throw it.
Hey, he was successful doing it, though. That's all I got to say. I agree, though. I agree. Fastest release time ever recorded, man. It's ridiculous. Ever ridiculous.
Who else we going with? Receiver?
We got Terry McLaurin signed a 3-year extension worth $71 million. Let's see.
I'd like Hunter to go on that one first. He's more of a scary Terry guy than me.
I am a scary Terry fan, but I don't agree with this signing. I mean, great addition by Washington, and honestly, scary Terry because he got the freaking bag. Obviously, Washington did it because they have no one. Who the hell else do they have other than Scary Terry? Yeah. Not a single freaking soul. So they had to do it. They were locked. Terry knew it. So he executed on it, made him give him the bag, and that's what they did. Good for Terry. He's a great player. I think we established top 15, top 20 player. But I mean, kudos to him. Do I think it's great by Washington? No, but they had no choice in this matter. They had no one else. So
I'm gonna give you 3 names. So Terry McLaurin, I mean, granted, he just inflation, so he's going to sign.
Correct.
Somewhere. I'll give you 3 names: Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin. Is Terry McLaurin better than any of those 3 guys?
Absolutely not.
He's getting paid more than all 3.
Yep. Absolutely not. Another reason why I think that they're signing these shorter contracts that are so much money. They're like, screw it, let's get the bag right now and then re-sign one more in 29, 30, right at there, either right at the end of the peak, right at the peak, and into the new stuff. So
yeah.
But I'm in agreement. None of those guys are even. I mean, Terry doesn't even match up to one of those guys, I would say.
And I mean, other than Keenan Allen, I mean, the age is comparable. I think Amari's probably a year or 2 older than
Correct.
Him, but I mean, Chris Godwin is same age.
Mm-hmm.
They came in around the same time. So, I mean, I would take Chris Godwin. Like, if you put Chris Godwin in place of Terry and put Terry on the Bucs, I think they'd both thrive. But I mean, I think Chris Godwin would establish himself as a top 10 wide receiver if he did that. The only
thing Terry has against him is health. And because Chris Godwin's always struggled a little bit with health with Tampa Bay, that Terry hasn't, I would say. He has a little bit, but not as significant as Chris Godwin or Keenan Allen at that pins.
Well, Keenan Allen definitely, injury prone. I don't think Chris Godwin's been hurt before other than this past year. Like, I think this was the first significant injury of his.
Yeah,
I could be wrong,
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right, though. But the age definitely helps with that. Keenan Allen being so freaking old.
When he's not even, let me look. I don't even think he's that old. He's probably 30.
I'm thinking, is he 30? I was going to say 31.
Yeah.
So,
but it seems like he's been in the league a while. And I mean, when that dude's healthy, definitely top 10.
We got anybody else who signed, JJ?
Sure do. We got Deebo Samuels.
That's right.
Definitely signed a new contract here worth $73.5 million for 3 years. And he secured $58.1 million guaranteed. Now, Terry McLaurin signed with same amount of time as the last few guys we've talked about, significant less money guaranteed. Almost $16 million less money.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Deebo, is one of the highest here at 58.1. DK sitting at 58.2, which I think is the highest. Yeah, which would be the highest here. That's kind of surprising there.
Yeah. What do you think about Debo?
Yeah. I mean, this is the one I wanted to do. This is my favorite one to discuss because first and foremost, the freaking running back incentives. So love that his biggest deal was like John Lynch. I do not want to play running back anymore. I'm a receiver. I do not want to play running back anymore. Okay, fine. We'll give you a receiver contract and then we'll put in incentives for you to play running back. I love that because it's a benefit for both sides. You benefit the team because you want him. That's a utility guy that can play those positions. You want him to be there. It helps Debo because then it says, okay, I mean, not that he's going to get to choose what position he runs or what plays he does, but at least gives him the incentive of, hey, if I'm going to play running back, I've got something to run for. So really like that. Second point, yes, I looked it up. I'm not that smart, but just looked up DK Metcalf and Debo Samuel both have the same agent. So it makes sense that they were signed within a week of each other, same agent, same contract discussions, being able to almost even leverage DK's because he got signed before and use it to help with the Debo discussion there. So out of all the guys we just named, I mean, Debo is the best one out of that group. Yes, a little recency bias there. He had a huge year this last year, but again, factoring in that multi-tool skill that he has of being able to play running back, he can line up outside in the slot behind the backfield. It doesn't matter. The dude's going to be productive. So yeah, really like that one for him. Makes sense that he had the most guaranteed money. You know, makes sense that he'd be one of the last ones to sign with how big he had last year.
I've got his incentive money pulled up here and what he needs to do. So Debo Samuel needs to run for 380 yards, 380 or more yards in this season. He will receive receive a bonus of $650,000. If he fails to record 380 yards plus rushing yards, he will only receive $150,000.
Yeah,
that's not that much rushing. I mean,
no, but at the same time, obviously, we heard the reports of him not wanting to. He came out literally on the 2nd. That's Tuesday or whatever the day it is, and says they were false, and at this point they were making stuff up. Whether or not that's true, there's a reason those numbers are so low. So there were some factual ideology behind that that he didn't want to as much, because I read all the numbers just like you, and those numbers are extremely low. So there's a reason behind that, and I know it's he'll still run the ball because again he's that multi-tool player, and that's what, to be attractive after this contract ends, that's what he's going to have to do unless he just balls out at receiver. But first 2 years didn't so much. This past year doing a multi-tool thing was next to none. So
I would have thought his rushing yards would have been a little higher last year. Nick, take a wild guess what his rushing yards were last year.
Like total during the regular season?
I thought it was more.
450. I'll just round up. 450.
Hunter, you got an idea?
400.
I was going to go 365.
That's on the button.
365?
Yep.
Yeah.
Rushed last year.
Yeah.
So he would have to. Yeah.
Go ahead.
He would have to put together his best rushing year to get.
I think it was less about the yard. How many rushing attempts would be my question. How many rushing attempts?
And touchdowns. Look up that one, because I'm interested to see, because if I'm not mistaken, he had quite a few.
Rushing touchdowns? Yeah. I'd guess 5.
Yeah, I'd guess 5 or 6 as well.
Attempts, 59. Give me one second.
Yeah.
He also had 59 carries for 365 yards and another 8 scores. So
8 rushing touchdowns?
I believe so. That's what I'm seeing right here. JJ, you can fact check that.
Crazy amount of. So again, the genius
6.
of Kyle Shanahan.
Is it 6? Okay, so 6. So I mean that's still significant for a guy who's not supposed to be running back. He's supposed to be a receiver. So again, the guy's going to do what he has to make his team win. We know that he balled out last year. There's no reason he shouldn't ball out this year, and If it takes him running the ball at the goal line or whatever the case may be, he's gonna do it. He's getting paid bank now the way he wanted to. So
well, based on that, I mean, let's say it was just 6 and 59 attempts. So 1 out of every 10 attempts he's scoring on a running play. That's pretty good. That is
staggering.
Yeah,
good numbers.
Absolutely.
Good percentages there.
We've got an old man that signed, a favorite of mine throughout the years for fantasy football. My guy, Julio Jones, he signed a 1-year deal, $6 million with a max value of $8 million. Thoughts, Nick?
I'm curious to know what's the incentive, probably number of catches or yards or both. A mil for 600 yards, a mil for 50 plus catches, 45 plus catches, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I love Julio too. You took him from me in every fantasy football draft for the last 5 years. Literally took him out from under me. So yeah, I'm a big Julio guy as well. At one point, I did think he was the best receiver in the NFL. Injuries hurt him a lot. Defining moment for Julio for me, it's that catch in the Super Bowl. I know they didn't win it, but that defining moment of him making that crazy, one of the craziest catches, other than the David Tyree catch, that might be the craziest Super Bowl catch I've seen, the one that he came down with. But that's what I'll always remember him for. And then that season that him and Antonio Brown absolutely went off, almost broke the records of yards and whatnot. But like Julio, great deal for Tampa Bay, great deal for Julio. He doesn't have to be the dude. Absolutely. He doesn't even have to be the co-dude, because with Tennessee, he was, I think, still considered the co-guy with AJ Brown. Now he's what, the third best guy on that team when Chris Godwin's healthy.
Yep.
So
I'd say so. No, I'm in agreement. I think great addition, especially for Tom Brady. Losing Gronk. Hey, get a tall guy and catch the ball, jump up, catch the ball. Why not?
Exactly.
I talked to Nick about this earlier. A little sneaky person who I think is going to be good there as well with the Julio signing is Russell Gage. I understand they have Chris Godwin. They have a lot of names, but very quick. We don't know quite when, Godwin's going to come back yet, coming off that injury. But good inside guy that's going to open things up for him, because you're going to have Julio and Mike Evans on the outside. So perfect for him. But the guy I really want to talk about, and I think is pretty neat, and I think a good signing by them, is the Dolphins Simon Mohamed Sanu. Dude hadn't done anything in a couple years. We know that. 15 catches the past 2 years. Before that was 59, then 66 the year before. So he can play. We know that. But I really think it was more of just an addition to help out these young receiving core that they have. Yes, they picked up Tyreek Hill, obviously, and he's going to be the number one guy, Jalen Waddle. But it's good to have a vet there that does have the hands, especially near the goal line, to get up, get the ball, or, the best thing I remember to Mohamed Sanu is he would find a way to get open. End of story. Find a way to get open. And if the quarterback is on the run, he would be the person that they would look for. So good addition by them. Not anything major, but thought it was pretty cool.
Let's not forget the dude did play a little bit of quarterback in high school and college too. He's always good for 1 or 2 trick plays a year. What's funny is, who else did they sign free agency wide receiver? Cedric Wilson from the Cowboys, who also played quarterback in high school and college. So they have two receivers that, dude, they could literally run both of them on both ends. You got Tua. You don't know who's going to throw the ball. There's going to be at least 3-4 trick plays here where we see the Dolphins maybe even have we're talking double QB passes.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Tua taking it, passing to Sanu launching it to Tyreek Hill down the field. How cool would that be?
Yeah. If not, I will be severely disappointed in Miami.
They might have triple quarterback pass there. Tua to Sanu to Cedric down the field to Tyreek. Not that Tyreek needs that long to get down the field.
Correct. Tyreek's going to be sitting down there in a lawn chair waiting for the ball.
All right. So if we're talking sneaky good signings, we'll be a little homer. Anthony Barr to the Cowboys. How old was he, JJ, when we looked him up?
30 years old.
Younger than I thought. I would have said 32. That man's 30 years old. He still got some fuel in the tank, in my opinion. You add him in there. He historically is an outside linebacker versus inside. So, you've got him. He'll be able to mentor Micah Parsons. I think he'll relieve a little bit of pressure off of Leighton Vander Esch, things like that. Yeah, I think that was a super good signing. Everyone was concerned about the Cowboys signing a receiver. Honestly, I feel like I like this signing better than signing Will Fuller. I honestly do think I like Anthony Barr signing more than a Will Fuller or a Cole Beasley or whoever. OBJ, we'd have to overpay him. We can't afford him anyways. But
agreed.
Let's just talk about why.
Fuller.
Give me a reason. Give me a reason why they're not signing, buddy. Why they're not signing a receiver after losing. I mean, come on, like someone, right? You need some help.
Again, I mean, on paper, it's easy to say, oh, they should.
Correct.
Why don't they? I get it.
Correct.
I'd like to see him sign Will Fuller. I think might as well throw him out there, on a short-term deal. But it also depends on the money too. How much is Will Fuller expecting? How much is Cole Beasley expecting? I don't know if a Cole Beasley reunion is the right thing either.
Yeah, absolutely not. I don't want to.
He kind of left a bad taste in our mouth. And he walked away and had some things to say. But yeah, I would love to have Will Fuller. But at the same time, I can understand why they would say, again, it's easy to say, oh, why aren't they signing anyone? Well, I mean, they do have like 8 receivers on the roster. Are they as established as Will Fuller and Cole Beasley and OBJ? Absolutely not. But I mean, we talked about TJ Vasher, talked about Jalen Tolbert. Eventually Michael Gallup will be back. Eventually James Washington will be back. So as much as I'd like to see them sign one, I also understand why they're not. But do love that Anthony Barr signing.
Like it.
Other NFL signings that Hunter's super excited about. Chris Boswell will be here signing.
That's right.
Hunter, what can you tell us about that?
The Boz man. I love it. Kickers are far and few between, it seems like, that are that seem to be consistent. And the man is, numbers prove it in his story. Not even going to go any further in that. But good addition to us. Good pickup. Boz got paid. Kickers seem to be getting paid more and more, which is
5 years, $23 million.
Interesting to me, but hey, I mean, they deserve the bank too, because he's helped us plenty of time in clutch wins. But I love it. I mean, Steeler guy, he needs to end his career there and just continue to make those field goals for us.
The two highest paid kickers in the NFL are both in the AFC North.
That's right.
Boswell's one. I'm assuming we all know who the other one is.
JJ?
Is it Tucker? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I man always picks him. Everything. Man always.
I was like, I mean, if we're talking fantasy football, if we're talking Madden fantasy football,
that's right.
Traded,
I'll make sure to steal
like
that
the
guy.
5th round.
Yeah, he's going in the 3rd round to JJ over here.
Third round to JJ,
kicker,
Justin Tucker.
kicker.
Hey, that gold star means everything when it comes to that kicker.
That's right. That is correct.
But the two highest paid, I think 20 mil a year each, right?
Yeah.
What did Boswell sign 20 a year?
23.
20.
Not 20 a year.
Not over a year.
Total.
Yeah, sorry, 23 total. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now
I think Tuck was 26.
I called it 20 million.
Right? 20. Okay, so he just signed right over Tuck, which is understandable.
About 7 mil a year, roughly 7 mil a year.
Yeah.
Current market accepted. Knew we were going to pay more than that. Ravens got away with it, paying him a little sooner. So not bad. Again, is he the best kicker in the league? No, but he is. I would say he's consistent as crap.
Justin Tucker is the best kicker of all time. I don't think there's any.
No, I'm in.
If we're talking clutch, Adam Vinatieri probably. But if we're just talking the best kicker, it's Justin Tucker.
Agreed. So, no argument for me, even being a Steelers fan.
Welcome.
Accurate.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. My favorite Justin Tucker story is not even an NFL story. It's most definitely college. Last game that Texas and A&M ever played against each other, being in the same conference. They're about to end up in the same conference again. But before A&M left the Big 12, which, as we all know, left the Big 12 mostly because they felt like it was an unfair incentive for them to have a Longhorn network. So they leave the Big 12, go to the SEC. The last game that Texas and A&M ever played against each other came down to a kick. Came down to a Justin Tucker game-winning as a time expired kick. He drills it and says, bye-bye. Have fun in the SEC. That is my favorite Justin Tucker moment.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Yep.
All right, Hunter, what do we got here with Jimmy Garoppolo and the Browns? What's your hot take on this?
So we're going to concise this a little bit because we've kind of had this argument. But
creative discussion.
Hot take. Doesn't make any sense, but I'm solely going on the fact that the Browns suck and they do not have a sense in the front office. So what I'm saying is hot take is Jimmy G goes to the Browns. Makes no sense. And I get it. I get Nick's point of view, but I'm going to say mine. I think Jimmy G goes to the Browns because first of all, I'm going to say the 49ers don't want any competition for Trey Lance. So what they're going to do is trade Jimmy G to the Browns for a 6th-round pick and Jacoby Brissett and some skill safety, because that's their number one read out of the 49ers. I'm thinking Miller or Bell, one of these guys that they drafted last year, one of those two guys, and just offload them. They have stud cornerbacks and safeties at the Browns, so they're just going to pawn someone off on them to get Jimmy G. I know it's a reach here, but I dogmatic opinion, or just maybe opinion in this situation, is way better than Jacoby Brissett. Garoppolo is way better than Jacoby Brissett. I understand that he's a bus driver. We get that. Nick and I talked about this. I think it's adding 4 wins, 3-4 wins, and I know that's hard to say, but I do, and I think for the Browns it's the best. I don't know if it's the best thing to do. I think it's stupid, but they're going to do something because Jacoby Brissett's not going to do anything for him, and this is all dependent on if Deshaun Watson comes back. If he doesn't come back, I think they're just going to eat the year and suck it up. Or if in the middle of the season they need to trade for Jimmy, they will. But if they're expecting Deshaun Watson back and he's going to come back, they want to be competitive and make a run for it, as Nick Chubb's contract's coming up, Kareem Hunt, and they're going to lose at least one. So I think that somehow, some way, they're going to screw it up. Don't think it's smart at all. I'm in agreement with Nick on that. We both agree to that. But he's going to end up at the Browns for next to nothing. So the 49ers don't eat that contract. There's no competition for Lance per se, which I don't fully agree with. But Nick, come on, bring it on. Let's hear it.
So the biggest reason, and you kind of said, the biggest reason I don't think this is going to happen only factors in if the Browns have a competent front office.
Correct.
They don't. So this could potentially happen because the Browns will always be the Browns.
Correct.
But in my opinion, this won't happen because I'm assuming that they're going to be competent enough not to do it. If I'm the Browns, the biggest hang up is the Browns, not the 49ers. So the thing is, the 49ers got to trade them. Let's use the Baker deal as an example. The only way that they got rid of Baker is to eat half the contract. So, I mean, when the 49ers trade Jimmy, unless it's a very hurting team, like that's why my opinion is that it's going to happen in season, but it's not going to happen now because they're going to have to eat half the contract anyways. So to your off-air point, like, why do they want to keep paying him? Well, they're going to have to eat half the contract anyways if they get rid of him right now, just like the Browns are doing with Baker. But the main reason I don't think this is going to happen is because the Browns this offseason, they traded for a QB, Deshaun Watson, signed him to a fully guaranteed $200 and whatever the heck $1 million deal, which that in its own right is really dumb.
Accurate statement.
They signed Josh Rosen, they signed Jacoby Brissett, and they signed Josh Dobbs. So they have traded for one and signed 3 QBs. Even if they get rid of one, I just don't see any way that they trade and acquire yet another quarterback, especially one that is a very short-term solution. That's, assuming he just plays this year. Why would I want to, again, I know it's just a 6th-round pick, but why would I want to give up a 6th-round pick? Why would I want to give up a guy I just drafted last year that still got a rookie contract in whatever safety you want to choose? That is just one of the dumbest front office decisions, other than signing a guy for $230 million that might not play, fully guaranteed. That is one of the dumbest front office decisions that you could do, honestly. And again, it could very easily happen because the Browns are that dumb, but I don't see that happening. And then the other conversation that we did have off air was the wins added. So in my opinion, Jacoby Brissett should not be a starting quarterback. I think he's going to end up starting because Deshaun's out. Jacoby Brissett is not a starting quarterback. He's a great backup, would be a great backup on a team. But putting Jimmy Garoppolo in place of Jacoby Brissett on this team does not make you that much better. Because right now, with Jacoby Brissett, assuming nothing else, this is not a playoff team with Jacoby Brissett as starting quarterback. Adding Jimmy Garoppolo to this team still, in my opinion, does not make them a playoff team. Like the adding of Jimmy Garoppolo does not make them that much better to where they have to get them to make the playoffs. I think they would still miss the playoffs either way. Obviously, I can be proven wrong if it happens. Who knows what's going to happen? But if that's the factor, like what am I doing if I'm the Browns? If my goal is to make the playoffs or even win Super Bowl, is Jimmy Garoppolo is my answer? This 1 year, this one and only year, that's my answer. I just think there's not enough going for that. That's why I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay, hear me out on this. They have one of, again, the not exact numbers. Maybe we should pull that up, JJ. But the hardest strength of schedule. But Browns, you're talking. They play Jags week 1, win. With Jacoby Brissett, I can't even guarantee that win. Jimmy G, I guarantee that win. I think this is more of where my, I guess, guarantee comes from. Bears. Yes, they're going to win against the Bears. Bears suck now. End of story.
Yeah.
Jets. Could be a toss-up, depends on Zach Wilson plays this year, or Joe Flacco, because apparently he's doing so well. But toss-up there, I would say. Steelers, we always toss one with them. Yeah. It's back and forth. Falcons, that's another win. Is it with – I do not see significantly Jacoby Brissett winning, even these ones that they should be a win.
Doesn't have to win. He just got to not lose, just like Jimmy does. Just got to not lose. He's a bus driver. Just don't lose.
At least Jimmy G has the IQ. I think he has significant more football IQ, and I think solely that is for experience of playing. Because Jacoby, I solely think it's because experience of playing, being behind one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, or the greatest quarterback ever, and what he has done. As much as we hate on Jimmy Garoppolo, yes, he is not great, but bring it on. Let's hear it. What'd you see?
Did you just say Jimmy's better because he played behind Tom Brady?
No, I'm saying he's learned from Tom Brady. That's what IQ.
Right.
Football IQ. Correct.
So you don't remember Jacoby Brissett and Jimmy Garoppolo being on the same team behind Tom Brady?
I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
And Jacoby Brissett also winning a game and then getting hurt and then Jimmy coming in? Okay.
Correct.
So when they both played together on one team, Jacoby got 1 game. He won. Mm-hmm. Jimmy got 2 games. He won both.
Correct.
So both behind Tom Brady.
I'm in agreement. But Garoppolo had a much longer stint. Much longer.
No, 1 extra game. He got 2 games. Jacoby got 1.
No, I mean as a backup to Tom Brady.
Oh, because
Garoppolo had a correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah, gotcha. Garoppolo had a much longer stint behind Tom Brady of picking the brain, etc. Just and generally in just football IQ. Jacoby hasn't had yes, he started. We know that obviously with Miami was not great at all. But I think it's obviously proven by numbers that Garoppolo was better by himself on a team than Brissett.
Okay, so then you also said experience number of games played.
Correct.
I don't know this number, JJ. How many career games has Jacoby Brissett started and played in? Versus how many Jimmy has? I would actually guess Jacoby's played more games. I'm pretty sure if I had to put a bet on it, I would be willing to bet Jacoby's played more games. So if you're basing it off of the experience and played games, I would not be surprised at all if Jacoby Brissett has started and played more games than Jimmy Garoppolo. Do we have that?
See,
number?
I think it's Garoppolo, but
37 career starts for Jacoby Brissett.
That has to be more for Garoppolo, right? I mean, he's had
how many?
Well, he's looking it up, but overall, I think again, this is like Nick said.
60 games played. Let's do games played too. 60 games played, 37 starts for Jacoby.
Yep.
I'd like to hear the Jimmy number. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Well, like Nick said, this is all based, yes, it's my hot take, and whether or not it's right, whatever. Hot takes are fun anyways, but this is all based on the Browns screwing things up.
It'll be real fun if this trade happens. Then our second part of the argument being how many wins, losses added. That'll be the more interesting thing.
Correct.
But of course, there's what we're not doing is we're not factoring in other variables. The teams they're playing, the team around them, because Jimmy could get traded and easily lose his receiving core. Nick Chubb could get hurt, all that, and we could, factor that in. But
correct.
What do you got for us, AJ?
So Jimmy Garoppolo has started 47 games. He's 33-14 in his
10 more games. That's significant for you.
But
I'm not being condescending. That's a real question.
I would say so in the sense of what's their win-loss records in. Let's look that up comparative to the games. You know what I mean? And how, because I could significantly say that I don't even think I need to see the numbers on this, that he's done better than Brissett.
Well, if we're just looking at win-loss, that's.
And I'm not just saying win-loss. I'm talking about
I'm talking about
all
where you've got other factors too.
Yeah. Exactly, obviously. But win-loss does matter to an extent. Again, you have defenses that carry the game, yada, yada. But I'm talking numbers. I mean, JJ can spit numbers
I
all day.
agreed off air. No, I definitely agree
Yeah.
with you off air. The numbers are going to be better. The averages per game. I bet you the averages per game are better.
Correct. Well, and I think that
interception, I'm sure, is better because he's a bus driver. He's been put in a position where he doesn't throw interceptions because he doesn't take risks.
But I think that strengthens my thing now, knowing that it is only 10 games that the difference. You know what I mean? So, do I think in the end this will happen? Yeah, I think it's going to be a freaking hilarious story when it comes out, if it happens. But I'm saying, put my name on it, baby.
Ultimately, I think the disagreement was Hunter thinks that if factoring nothing else, you replace Jimmy Garoppolo in place of Jacoby Brissett, they win an additional 4 games.
Correct.
My thing is, at most, taking no other variables into consideration, maximum 1 game, 1 win add. Jacoby's not going to lose 3 more games. Jimmy's not going to win 3 more games.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Jimmy Garoppolo in his career starts is 33-14. Jacoby Brissett is 14-23.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know that does not surprise.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise. Yeah. I mean that's to be expected.
If you recall and watch, I mean the teams were different around them. This 49ers team is damn good, and they have been for
absolutely.
I agree.
Damn good.
I agree. And most of the and again, this is credit to Jacoby Brissett in this sense. Most of the starts he came in on with people hurt. I mean, quarterback comes down. They're in the middle of the freaking season. He has to finish out 5 games. So in his defense, I'm in total agreement of that. That's what's happening. It's not, luckily with Garoppolo, he's had from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. It's not coming in. Yes, he's had a couple of those starts, as we know, but Brissett is mainly that guy of what Nick and I agree. Both.
Because he's supposed to be the backup.
Yes, he's supposed to be the backup.
Yeah.
Garoppolo, is he a great starter? Yeah, yes, no, very, very up in the air. But Brissett is supposed to be the backup. That's why that record shows that. And I'm in total agreement of that. But I just, personally think he had a little bit more football IQ. And I hope it happens just because I just want to laugh at the Browns and I'm a freaking Steelers fan. Right. Why not? Just screw them up.
I got to start bench cut for you then.
Okay, go.
Start bench cut. Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance. Start bench cut.
Start bench cut. Starting Jimmy Garoppolo, benching Trey Lance, cutting Jacoby Brissett. What about you?
Is it potential? Is that why Trey Lance? Because we don't. It's
potential.
We know what Jacoby is. We know what Jimmy is.
Correct, and obviously, I watched Trey Lance in college. I watched a couple of games over, after we heard the hype of him. And dude has a freaking arm. There is no denying that in the story. I don't care what anybody says. But it is the potential of that. I think he has a great arm, but he's not even close to being ready. If I had to start him right now with Brissett or him, I'd still probably go him just for the rushing factor, of our new era of Lamar Jack, like that. But it would be extremely difficult for me too, personally, because at least Jacoby Brissett, like I said, football IQ, has a NFL, background type situation. So that's where I would be. What about you?
Yeah, maybe it's not fair. See, I'm thinking, I'm a strong believer in, until you do it in the NFL, I don't care about college until you do it in the NFL. So that's not fair to do this one because he literally hasn't gotten a chance. So for me, it is Garoppolo, Brissett, cut Trey Lance. Yeah. But if we're going on potential, then I'm with you. Start Garoppolo. And that's the thing. I'm not a Garoppolo. I don't think Jacoby Brissett is better than Garoppolo. That move just doesn't make sense to me. If you told me straight up, like, hey, I'll trade you Jimmy Garoppolo, I'll eat half his contract if you give me Jacoby Brissett in a 6th-round pick. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's not even close, but that's not how it's going to go down. There's no way that trade is going to happen that way. So if it was like that, it'd be no question.
I will say last thing on this is that I think they will do this all for the fact of yes, they ate part of Baker's contract, which ended up being like 12 mil or something like that. It wasn't, it was significant, but not terribly. But why would you make your starting quarterback who you signed? Yes, it was the suspension. Yes, but it's $1 million. Their cap space is high. They can take on that contract. And the reason I think the 49ers are going to do it, Nick, and I know you're saying that they're going to have to eat part of that contract. I don't think they do. I think the Browns eat all his last year of this contract, And that's why they do it, because they're going to be like, brush your hands with it. Fine, get away from us. Don't be it. And just give them Jacoby Brissett and a pick. And whether or not that third, fourth string guy goes as well. But I think they do it because the Browns have the space for it. And the 49ers are just ready to dust their hands. Yes, they want more. We know that, because obviously what we've seen traded in over the year, they want more than that. They're not going to get more than that unless someone goes down in the middle of the season. That's if that happens. And that's if a team's willing to trade for it, or they're just going to eat their season by that point.
I definitely don't think that it's going to be worth it, because if they don't eat they're definitely going to get less back if they don't eat part of the contract. That's the whole thing about Baker. If they didn't eat part of that contract, they get a conditional 7th round pick. At least with this, they get like a conditional 5th or whatever, because they ate half the contract. But if you don't eat half the Jimmy contract, you're getting a 7th round pick.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the 49ers would be willing to part with that. My biggest thing is that it does not make sense for the Browns to do it. That was kind of my point. Because again, if the Browns do it, they are assuming what you are, that Jimmy takes them from a team that's not going to make playoffs to a team that makes playoffs. That's the only reason they would do that, is that they think with him, they're going to make playoffs versus whoever else that they're out there.
Or at least like we talked about, bus drive enough to get Deshaun there and hope in their hopes, hope to God that he leads them to the playoffs.
Let me just ask this question. So like I'm saying, they think he's going to make playoffs. So if you're the Browns and Jimmy's only here for a year, even if you think with him we're making playoffs without him, and we're not making them without him, even if that's the case, and I know, this is a hot topic right now, tanking. So why would you not, as the Browns, say, hey, let's throw Jacoby Brissett out there. We either make playoffs or we don't, and we tank.
Why would you tank? You gave away all your picks. Why would you tank? There's absolutely no reason for them to tank at this point. Why? Obviously, I agree.
They got picks. They just don't have the first round. Yeah,
correct.
Which I get that. I get that.
My thing is, why not possibly bring in a guy who could end up, let's say, taking them to playoffs, let's just say could take them to playoffs. Yeah. And let's just say he ends up a top 15 quarterback, whatever, let's just say, and be able to trade him away. Because obviously you're not going to stick with him because you just, will he become an undrafted free agent?
Yes, so correct. You can't trade him again.
But to me, in that sense, either no, because they wouldn't resign. I don't
you're
know.
Not going to resign. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The only reason that they would take him is because they would have to think, hey, he's going to help us make playoffs, and potentially, if you're not going for the Super Bowl, what's the point of making that trade? If you don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to take you to the Super Bowl, that's my whole point. Why do you make that trade unless you absolutely know that Jimmy's taking you to the Super Bowl? Because if you make playoffs and don't go to the Super Bowl, then what? You just another year and you got Deshaun next year.
No. Well, let's put it this way. Last question. Do you think Brissett can lead him to the playoffs more, or to, let's say, Super Bowl, than Jimmy G could?
No, but that's not my argument. That's the whole point.
No, I know. But I'm just saying, do you think
Jacoby's
so?
less.
Okay.
I said I gave the one game. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Correct.
With Jacoby Brissett, they go 7-10. With Jimmy Garoppolo, they go 8-9. That's my thinking. That does nothing. If I'm the Browns, that does nothing for me to give up any picks or any young talent
for one
year, and then I've got Deshaun next year for one win.
Correct.
That's the whole point. Like, that would be a dumb decision from the Browns to trade away a pick and a dude they just recently drafted, or any talent really, for a guy that they're going to have for a year and may or may not even make playoffs still.
Yeah.
Why as an organization would you make that deal?
They just need to be competitive within the AFC this year because of the talent that is produced.
You're not within our division and everything. Even if you're not going to make playoffs, then why does it matter?
Why spend the money?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. But hey, hot take. They're going to do it, and
we've got it written down.
The Browns, and we're going to all laugh at the Browns.
I will say this. I mean, we've got it as a hot take.
Yep.
Jimmy G to the Browns. So if that happens, man, there's another check mark for you.
That's right.
I mean, we're keeping track with checks and X's. I don't know who's in the lead, but we're all doing terrible. I'll say that.
Oh, for sure.
Our hot takes are pretty bad.
With the NFL season on its way to crank up here, we're going to have plenty more hot takes to come. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for today for Dogmatic Opinions. Please like, subscribe, keep listening, and we'll catch you on the flip side.